What is up, everybody? It's Kova, Tweak Music Tips. If you're a streamer, a podcaster, or a DJ, you need to check out this video. So we just had on Ryan White from Rode Microphones, and he went over their all-in-one solution with effects, sound banks, and helps with microphones that need a lot of gain. Yes, you guessed it, we're talking about the Rodecaster Pro. Even if you watched other videos, you gotta watch this one. He dove in deep on the features and gave us a blueprint on exactly how to use it. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into the video.
So this is actually the Rodecaster Pro, as you all know and love. The quick rundown on this is, think of it as an analog mixer. Of course, it has the digital aspects that it does, but 4 channels as a mixer here. And one of its key add-ons was all of the settings that you actually get inside of the channel. So if I actually switch 2, 3, 4, then I'm actually just clicking inside of their settings per channel. And then if we want to talk more about what really brought the Rodecaster into a world of its own, it's these 3 digital tracks, if you will. USB in and out, both multi-channel now and stereo. And then the SD card for recording on the back is also multi-channel or stereo for recording. So I like to use those for redundancy. Let me see if I can do this for you all here. Micro SD card right there. So I actually have one plugged into it. You can actually see that on the main screen as well. But that SD card can be multi-channel or stereo, as well as going USB out to a computer, going out to your favorite DAW and either multi-tracking it, streaming live in stereo, various things like that. So right now I'm actually on my Rodecaster Pro set to stereo mode on my Rodecaster Pro. I don't need multi-channel in this particular set because we're going stereo to StreamYard, and that's the easiest way to make a communication setup between my voice going out to Kova and then Kova coming back to me without feedback loops, echoes, and so forth. You can actually go into a phone channel, TRRS port right on the back. This little guy right here. Right, looks like a little phone. And now this is not the Rode cable. I actually bought this when the Rodecaster came out, and Rode didn't have this cable yet. We now have the SC9, that other company I was mentioning, right? Their audio adapter, and then a very specific TRRS connection. And you can also pull up Zoom, Skype, StreamYard, whatever, and go both channels simultaneously. And last but not least, Bluetooth, right? So again, another phone, another Bluetooth device accessing it. Now, this is not a speaker output or anything like that. I got a lot of people who think, well, that's Bluetooth, so it can connect to things. The last chat we had, Kova, we talked about the downfalls and pitfalls of Bluetooth. One of the first things is quality of audio, right? With voice over IP and things like that, you can get a pretty high quality phone call as a third option. But the other thing too is just real quick plug and play application. So I can bring a phone call or bring up Spotify or some form of music program and then dump that into the Bluetooth track as a third and final choice. So we're just here to give you options. I turned on broadcast metering as well, so now you can actually see full decibel metering throughout the channel. I'm just playing a little bit of music on the side. And if you'll notice, Aphex on board. So any of my DJs who know 80s, 90s, 2000s and Aphex processing, Rode acquired them about 5-6 years ago. The Aphex processing is to add all of your various audio processors into it, right? Compressors, de-essers, high pass, noise gates, all that stuff. That is what's known as the Aphex channel strip. You can actually go buy an Aphex channel still to this day. Outboard gear, as you all probably know also, is just not as popular as it once was, right? So that piece of gear is $1,000 US, which means you're gonna have a wonderful analog, very professional channel going through whatever to the next stage. But Rode decided to go ahead and add that into their Rodecaster Pro as well and enhance the feature set. So again, $1,000 give or take per channel. Yeah, it's digital and it's not the analog system there, but they have fully brought the process of Aphex onto the board. So you have that all out of a push of a button. And then they added a firmware update that actually now allows you to customize it. So if we switch back over there, you'll actually see that it's all set up at the basic mode right now. It's literally on and off. Compressors, de-essers, those are very subtle. If I actually want to change that to the other mode, I can go to Advanced Audio Operations, turn on Broadcast Meters to make it a little more accurate than that, Processing, Effects Edit Mode. Inside of Processing in the Advanced menu, you can actually turn on Effects Edit Mode. If I return to the home page, press my mic 1, Audio Processing, now I actually have full-on customization of these things. High Pass Filter, This one's currently set to 94. The default, I think, is 60 hertz. Gets rid of your low frequencies. I can go into my noise gate and set things like attack, threshold. It's not even enabled right now on this particular board, but there you go. Threshold, attack, hold, release. You know, all of the things as a professional audio engineer I would use to actually do that. And then finally pads, as you know and love. Now, these are not going to be your traditional DJ pads, right? I have had people ask straight up, can I make a beat on it? Yes, you can. However, if you're familiar with all of the wonderful drum machines and so forth in the past, it doesn't have the same features, right? Think of this as a podcast desk first. That's why we're having this conversation too, is to clarify for DJs out there how this might 100% help you increase the quality of your production without trying to do stuff that is either taking it outside of its box or taking you outside of your box. So the pads are not velocity sensitive. You know, if I hit it, it's on and off. We use this for podcasting. I can put every single advertisement I have. I can put every single sound effect, intro music, outro music. I can literally load up a song. I got Gaff coming in to do an interview. I can load up a track and then play that, right? Now you have built-in onboard storage. It has nothing to do with the SD card. Plenty of customers asking for this upgrade someday. I'm sure that's a hardware change, right? Like there's a physical hard drive that's inside of the pads that stores those sounds. And so if you go over those, it's about 30 minutes of recording. So I could have a 30-minute file on one pad. Or we have 8 banks, I have 8 buttons, so you could have all of those filled up with little tiny segments and play them, sound effects, whatever. One other thing on top, headphone distribution. I actually have 4 outputs for the headphones. Obviously your record button, that is taking care of the SD card on the back, not your DAW. So as of right now, that doesn't currently also channel through to Pro Tools or any of your DAWs to trigger that as well. So you got to hit record on your DAW and then also hit record on this if you want both to record. Master output for speakers. Just start from left to right, 4 microphone inputs. Currently not line level inputs. We'll get to that here in just a little bit. But XLR microphones, it was designed as a podcast board, right? Moving along, phone. There's your 4 headphone distros. Left and right output for speakers. Micro SD card, and then your USB-C out to your computer. And finally, power, right? So very simple. Very easy to understand from a mixer standpoint. Knowing those ports and exactly what they're doing is a crucial thing for any of you trying to use this outside of the podcast space and into the streaming and or DJing space especially. So Mixminus is, the old technique was actually taking a live sound mixer and running an auxiliary track so that you could have a phone come in, send it somewhere, and then not return it to itself, right? Because we know that if you, Kova, coming through StreamYard, get into my Rodecaster Pro and then go out to yourself, that's the one and only thing you don't want to happen in this scenario, right? Because then it goes to you, comes back to me, goes to you, comes back to me. Feedback loop. Mixminus, the terminology comes from literally what it does. It brings you in to the mix, and then when it goes out, it takes everything out minus you. Okay, so it's the mix minus you. So the Rodecaster Pro has the USB track with an optional Mixminus, and the TRRS and Bluetooth are a fixed Mixminus. Rode did that actively. They're making an active design element that says if you're using a phone or a Bluetooth signal, you're going to be using some kind of conversation, some kind of send and return. So boom, Mixminus is on so you don't get that echo. USB could be for a lot of different things, right? We can be very flexible with USB, so we give you the choice. Right now I'm on StreamYard. Mixminus is very much on my Rodecaster Pro. And then if tomorrow I wanted to do a multi-track session, I could actually turn it off.
Question. So can you show us the top of the mixer and then just give us a couple scenarios? So now, obviously the 4 mics, right, to the left, those 4 faders would just be for the inputs, right? And that would be for a podcast situation. Gaff comes on, you're going to add background music from your phone. You turn up the phone fader. So move that for us. What would you use the USB for? Give us the scenario.
So the perfect scenario for this and what I'm actually using over here to the left, minus the phone call. So if we add a gaff in on a phone call, right? I'm sending me to you on StreamYard via the USB stereo output. Okay, so I literally go into the settings here. So in the case of a stereo conversation, phone call, right? That could be any platform, I don't care. USB in multi-channel doesn't really like make your computer use multitrack. It just tells the computer you have that choice now. So this could be on all the time as long as you go into your software, into your operating system, and tell it you want to use the Rodecaster Pro stereo, and then go into StreamYard and tell it you want to use the USB stereo. That's totally fine. But here's where it is on the Rodecaster. If you turn this off, the computer will never even see a USB multitrack option, right? Same thing for the SD card and all that. In my classes, I always teach 3 things have to be happy: hardware, operating system, software. It's literally the hardware goes into the operating system, then the operating system goes into the software. So that's the order and process that I always go through to get that. So we're in stereo mode on the operating system, and then I can go into StreamYard and choose the Rodecaster Pro stereo. And then on the output, Rodecaster Pro stereo, come back in here. Now the Mixminus is right back into that same stuff. It's currently off on my demo unit. Turn that on if we're doing a stereo send and return call. Now the USB track is Mixminus. Turn it off, it's no longer there. Okay, so it's very intuitive from the Rodecaster standpoint, and then the operating system and the software doesn't really care. So after that, we got our conversation going. Now I can literally bring in this TRRS cable. So it used to be TRS, tip ring sleeve. Now it's tip ring sleeve. Tip ring sleeve is going to actually give me bidirectional information. This is so many of my tech support calls. These cables were simply added to solve the problem of phone companies wanting to go with one jack to do both jobs. So to do both jobs, you needed to add another pin. But don't be confused, because this is still an 1/8" 3.5 millimeter connector. This will absolutely plug into your phone. This will absolutely plug into, well, if your phone has the jack, right? But if I get my Apple adapter, plug into the female port, this female port can actually support just headphones, right? Good old TRS headphones right to it. And it can also support a TRRS connection. What happens is literally just one of the pins gets shorted out. So in the case of today and how things work with these, it's microphone down here at the base, ground, and left and right output. So you got a mic going into the device. They share a ground. And then you got headphones coming back out. That's how you're able to get like your various microphone or cables that, you know, have a microphone here, right? So I got headphones up here, left and right. That's my tip ring. And then a microphone, if I had one on this headset, would then go out to the phone. But then on the Rodecaster Pro, once that audio is set up that way, I can simply just go over here to track on the phone and then pull that phone call up. So now all of a sudden, you know, you and I are on, say, a StreamYard call here, and then we bring Gaff in on the phone. I have each of you on your own fader, right? This is our conversation over on StreamYard. This is our conversation over on the phone. And I can literally mute, solo, turn it off, turn it on, turn it up, turn it down. And I have individual flexibility on both tracks. Same thing with Bluetooth. Bluetooth is the third option. And Bluetooth's a little lower quality, but it absolutely can allow you to do a phone call 3 ways right from the board and give you full flexibility and control of all 3.
Thanks so much for watching. If you have any comments or anything stuck out to you in this video, make sure you add it in the comment section. Also, we'd love for you to share it with your friends. Just in case you guys didn't know, my name is Kova. I run a weekly show on Twitch called Tweak Music Tips. We interview DJs, remixers, producers from all over the world. In addition, we have manufacturers like Pioneer, Rain, Denon, Shure, Yamaha, Rode, and many, many more. The second a product is released, they do a live product demo on our show where you get to ask them questions on the spot. So make sure you check us out. That's on Wednesdays and Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. GMT. We appreciate you hanging with us.